Happy Black Friday. Okay, we have today's quote for the day. Ready? What is it, babe? Trish just read this to me right when I was going live. What
Never
is
approach a bull from the front, a horse from the rear, or an idiot from any direction.
the quote is never approach a bull from the front, a horse from the rear, or a fool in any direction. Another thing we were talking about as I was fixing breakfast before we went live is one of the things I like about Trish is she doesn't like to be in large crowds like I don't like to be in large crowds. I don't know her exact reasoning, but one of the reasons I don't like to be in large crowds is more often than not if you're at a baseball, basketball, football game, if you've entered into a stadium, if you're going to a concert or a mall situation, chances are you have gone through some kind of detector to see if they have weapons on you. So it's a gun-free zone. You've actually you set yourself up to be a victim in a crowd. And then there's that old quip that says never underestimate the power of stupid people in large crowds. It's true. And stupid people have power when they all get together and they just turn their minds off and they do what everybody else does. So that's one of the reasons that I don't like being in a large crowd because I want to be able to protect myself, my family, my loved ones, anybody in my zone of influence. And it's very difficult to do that if you've number one been disarmed, and number two, if you're in a crowd full of stupid people, a bunch of fools who are just going to like we read with that London thing, pandemonium is broken out. Oh my God, pandemonium! There's a terror attack. No, it's just a guy with a knife on a bridge doing evil things to other people. It's not exactly, a mass casualty event. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of hang out and talk with you guys. I'm going to read a couple of your messages here on the side, and let's just go over some Black Friday stuff. I think most sane people stay home during Black Friday and they realize they're not really going to get those deals that they wanted to get. And even if they got the deals, it's really not worth putting up with the hassle. You gotta sit in traffic, you gotta stand in line, you gotta deal with a whole bunch of people who are just being complete greedy. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Greedy idiots. I saw one comment before I went live. Somebody said something about the power of greed, and it's true. When you get greedy people doing greedy things, and you put them, you combine them in a group of other greedy people doing greedy things. I mean, it just seems like a recipe for disaster to me. So anyway, let's go over some of this. Let me turn this camera around. All right. I got a couple things set up here. We'll have a good old time here on Black Friday. Is that racist? If you say Black Friday, is that racist? Yeah, I don't know. Could be. It depends on what side of the snowflakey fence you want to stand on. Let's see. So we got Brent's in the house. Outlaw X, Crankiest, Fozzie TM is here. Brighton, UK, and from Brighton, UK, Southern California, Deplorable. Henry Lidman. Johnny's here. Trammell, Red Pill, Stan, Howard or Howie, Russell. All right, let's do this. Let's do this real quick because we're just gonna hang out. I haven't even eaten my breakfast yet. Here's my eggs. Got a little bit of eggs. Got some coffee to hang out with you guys there. Got your fruit group and some almond butter. So where's everybody from? I'm in Oklahoma. It's very cloudy in Oklahoma today. Hey David, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving too. It was great spending time with the family yesterday. Hope you guys had some great time with the family. All right, so I'm hearing people say it's buffering. 503 dude says aloha, Brian. Hope your morning is good. I'm in Oregon. Amy's in South Dakota. Dick's in Florida. Yankees in Southwest Florida. Crankiest is from, oh, wow, that went fast. What happened there? Joseph's in Savannah. 0896 is in Eastern Washington. Stuart Little's Connecticut. Man, I would have loved to be in Connecticut when that Sandy, you know what happened? God, you know, I hate having to censor myself, but you got to do it because you're going to trip off the algos and they're going to take your channel down for no freaking reason. It's just ridiculous. All right, let's get with this first thing I got queued up here. This is a Black Friday compilation. Well, let's do what happened today. This is from that mall. Here's the mall mayhem and chaos from yeah, it happened today. Oh yeah, don't play. Oh yeah, don't play. Wonderful. It played a second ago, and now it's not playing. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. I'll start at the beginning.
Yo, Kenny, baby, what's going on?
I don't know why people feel I've never when I've ever seen a fight, I've never felt the need to break a fight up. Have you guys? I mean, if it's your family members and you don't want them to get hurt, but if you're out in a bar or something and two people are slugging it out, let them slug it out. I mean, I have no vested interest in that. Why even get involved in that? Just let them go at it and let's see what happens. May the best man win. If somebody dies, they die. The deal is, I don't know what happened in this situation. We can make all kinds of judgment. Let's say a guy was defending his family. No problem there. But more often than not, it's this kind of scenario on Black Friday. Watch this. Look at this. These aren't grade school kids. These aren't kindergartners. These are adults fighting over, let's just, toys. Okay. I don't care what that is. It's not worth fighting over. You're going to fight somebody that you don't know just so you can get something that you really don't need, that you're going to sell at a yard sale in about a year from now. This is a countdown, the top 5 craziest Black Friday footage. By the way, this is from 2018, but it still stands today. This kind of stuff is still going on today. Just lined up like cattle, waiting for the gates to open. God. Here they come. Here they come. I have zero desire to be involved in anything like that. And to top it all off, I would wager that most of the people crowding in there to get their stuff, their electronics or whatever the advertised good was that month, most of them can't even afford what they're going to buy. They're going to buy it on credit. They're going to get further and further into debt, which kind of escalates the mentality of these people. They're already upset already. They're behind on their payments. They feel pressure from their kids because they live in this culture where, there's this entitlement mentality. Why aren't you going to give me that present? Why don't you? So they're all stressed out and just crammed in like a bunch of sardines. Yeah, Stan says, but they save money. Yeah. Yeah, 503. I'm stuffing my face with these eggs while I'm playing this. 503 dude says, Brian, it's called layaway. Laugh my ass off. Brent says, did I see Jared Nadler in the middle of them? You probably did. Adam Schiff. There's Adam Schiff right there. Look, it's Adam Schiff. I can't even believe it. All right, here's number 3. Kills me the people that bring their kids to these things. Look, Junior, look how mommy and daddy fight over the next flat screen TV. Bubs Cat says cattle call. Cattle call. Man, if I worked at a store like that, I would be calling in sick every single holiday season, man. I would not want to be partaking in that. Think about it. These people are buying things they don't need with money they don't have. They can't afford it. They're deep in debt, and mostly they're really going after the television sets, which means they're going to sit down in front of the boob tube, thus Boobus Americanus, and just waste their lives away watching nonsense shows coming out of Hollywood. Everything they're doing is 100% bad for you. And then they top it all off by leaving there and going to McDonald's, man. It's horrible. Yeah, Morris Adams says, consume, obey, consume, obey. All right, I'm finished. I'm finished with my eggs. Outlaw says Mortal Kombat. Keen on those good vibes, says Sheeple. Exactly. Just a bunch of people acting like sheep. if your kid, if one, I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of these people. If my kids saw me acting like that, with my mindset right now, I would be so freaking embarrassed. You train your kids to act like adults, and then there's all these adults acting like kids. It's just, and that they're not shamefaced, red-faced about the way they're acting about something so frivolous. What are they going to do when the store shelves are bare? When when the shit really hits the fan? What are they going to do when things really go down and there's a real massive terror attack and they're not ready? They can't defend themselves or their families. How about when they need bread or water, or just the basics? I don't, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, exactly. Eric says, "Can you imagine if this was food?" Took the words right out of my mouth. I actually like watching this kind of stuff because it's really instructive, guys. There's something about psychology and how the mind works. And these people are acting the way they're acting because their minds are wired and geared a certain way because you only act out what's in your mind. They're not doing it without having some kind of thought. You know what I mean? Yes, they are turning their minds off and being thoughtless, but every action starts as a kernel of the mind, as a kernel. It's an idea in your mind. Hey, I'm gonna go get that great deal at Black Friday. Hey, I'm gonna go stand in line with a whole bunch of other lemmings. Hey, I'm gonna fight for that last TV. These are all actions that they take consciously, but they're wired and they're geared to think that this crap is so freaking important when it's not. And that's the irony of this whole thing. The entire paradox of what's going on here is that these people think they're getting something and benefiting themselves, and virtually everything they're doing is going against their best interests. Stan says this is what ruins the meaning of the holiday, what the holidays are for. Where's the moderator at when you need him or her? Ginny is acting just like those fools on TV. Let's see, what's Ginny? That's ridiculous. See, like, I don't censor, guys. I just don't censor. The reason, let that person do what they're doing, because Jenny, all you're doing is you're putting an X on your back, and you're getting yourself put in a position where you're going to get banned. You're going to take yourself down. That's what I like. That's what I hate about censorship is if you censor that kind of stuff, then you put these people in darkness, and the sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. Brian, they are Hasbara trolls. I'm not familiar with Hasbara. And not only that, when people like is it Jenny? When people like her or him do what they're doing, it just shows you exactly what they're all about. Yeah, that could be true too, Jeff George. Jenny's a bot. I'll tell you what, if it gets too much, I'll just go ahead and get rid of it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go and do that right now because and the reason I'm actually employing censorship right here is because it's getting in the way of people's conversation. So let's watch this and I'll just work behind the scenes to get rid of it. I'm gonna if anybody's interested in me throwing them a wrench, I've only got a couple wrench people and they're not in here right now. So just let me know if you're interested in doing it. Let me explain what I just did there, because guys, that's censorship. I really do. I will only employ it, and I've never employed it on YouTube until just now. Got rid of Jenny. I actually, and I actually didn't get rid of her or him. I just put her in what did it say? It get here. Let me see what the yeah. I put user in timeout. I didn't even really get rid of her or him. I can't stand censorship, but if you're gonna, it's like if you and me and three other friends were in a room having a conversation, and one of those people just decided to go blah 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 and just nonsense, we would usher him out of the room so we could have a conversation. Okay, there's nothing to be gained by keeping that person in the room, and there's nothing to be gained by keeping this person in the room. If anybody disagrees and thinks that I'm like going against my principle of no censorship, let me know. I'm always open. I hate censorship. Hate it. Hate it. But if it's a bot, goodbye.
In the brown. In the brown. In the brown. Brown shirt had it. Brown shirt had it.
I don't know what that is. All right, let's this was actually pretty funny, guys. I pulled this up after my last live stream. I thought with this guy, this target did was pretty funny.
My brothers and sisters, today the crowds are lined up on our doorstep. I look in many of your eyes and I see the same fear that would take the very heart of me. There may come a day when you are unprepared and when your courage has failed you, but it is not this day. There may come a day when the crowds pour through our doors like hordes of wild locusts, and we do not have the products they need. But it is not this day. For today, you are prepared. You are courageous. You are ready. You are targeted.
I thought that was classic, man. That is freaking hilarious. It's like he's pulling a Captain America inspirational speech on him. Okay, I just did about 4 or 5 mods in the room. Here's my deal, guys. I really do hate censorship, and that is the last resort. If you see somebody that's being a bot and it's just getting in the way of everybody trying to communicate, of course, because it just creates chaos and mayhem. So that's my only rule, guys. I don't just because somebody says something that, Brian, you suck, and they just say it one time. But if they say, Brian, you suck, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, or whatever, it's really getting in the way of everybody's communication. So that's the only reason I would get rid of somebody. Is that Ilhan Omar right there? Is that Ilhan Omar fighting for a shark vacuum cleaner? What is going on? Oh shoot, what happened to my volume?
They're still going at it.
It ain't never that simple.
Man, just let go, you know what I'm saying? Grab that. Pull it. You know what I'm saying?
Capable Guardian said Brian might suck. Oh my goodness. All right, let me read some comments, guys, because that's what we're here today. Just hang out, have fun. I wanted to show you this right here. Let me see. Let me read some here's my, like, I have an open policy on this channel, guys. If I'm wrong, like, we're all on a quest for truth. The more truth and true knowledge that we can accumulate to help each other, to help ourselves and to help our fellow mankind, man, doesn't it just make the world a better place? The more self-control you can have, the more you can learn from somebody. It's an amazing thing, and it adds to the flavor and positivity of life. I wanted to show you this thing real quick because we were talking about sheep and a herd. I don't know if I've played this on a couple of my videos before, but this is let me get something to prop my phone up here. Shoot, I don't have anything. Let me just hold it up here. This is a drone shot of, if you've ever been around Australian Shepherds, which I think is what these dogs are. See these black spots right here? These black spots are dogs herding these sheep from a drone view. And anytime I think of people like this doing this kind of thing right here, because we're talking about these people being sheeple, sheep-like people. Some people have a problem with the term sheeple. I don't have a problem because it perfectly encapsulates in one word exactly how these people act. They act like all these sheep. And I look at the shepherds as kind of like the Zionist international banking cartel overlords, and the dogs as being the politicians who are herding the sheep with their laws, and the sheep get all freaked out and they're easily directed and misdirected. So check this out. This is really fascinating. Matter of fact, a couple of videos that I've put this footage on, I've sped it up, and it's like this wave of sheep. It's crazy. I don't think there's, oh wait. I'm not gonna play the audio because it's probably copyrighted, but check this out. See the black spots? It's amazing, man. So few dogs can command control of that many sheep. And that's really what we're talking about. When we talking about the Zionist international banking cartel, that's why Amschel Rothschild said, give me control over a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws. Why? Because if you have control over the nation's money, you have control over the nation's population, the sheep. You can do anything you want to with them. Look, they're easily directed and misdirected. Look at them. That is just fascinating. Fascinating to me. Yeah, there's no sound on this because James Clark, because oh, you're not hearing my sound? Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, or are you just saying there's no sound on the video? Yeah, it's exactly like, it's like who said that bucket of balls said it's like the doors of Walmart. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly, very good point. That's how these people are acting. Look at these people.
Wow, bruh. Yeah, what did you do? Stop it. Whatever it is, whatever it is. What is it?
I wish I had my phone. I would snap.
If you ain't gonna get that shot vacuum cleaner, that's my vacuum cleaner. You put your hands off that vacuum cleaner.
Oh, y'all, some towels for real. Over some towels, y'all. Over some towels.
Oh God, here we go. Here goes the sheep. Oh my God. Oh my God. No. The only people I would feel sorry for in a crowd like this if they fell before the masses as they're getting trampled are kids. Kids don't really know any better. Their cognitive abilities haven't set in, and they look to their parents to kind of guide them. But their parents, yeah, Braden Phillips says, man down in aisle 2, stop him. We got to get that flat screen TV. I feel sorry for the kids because, man, these adults should know better, and they're training their kids to be utter morons, utter greedy morons. Yeah, Rusty Shackelford says, lambs to the slaughter. Exactly. Well said. Sheep stepping over sheeple.
Stop!
Yeah, I hear you, Jerry. I'm sadly laughing too. I mean, I do that all the time. Sometimes you got to chuckle and laugh to yourself because the only other alternative is just to like get in a corner and cry and go, what's going on with my world? Why aren't any of these people zealous about the Federal Reserve taking command over the money supply? Why don't they unleash this zeal against the IRS domestic terror cell known as the IRS? Why aren't they this passionate about the fact that we gave the military industrial complex 5.6% more than Obama gave? Now, I say we, Trump. Trump gave the military industrial complex 5.6% increase over what Obama gave. Why is there not this zeal for that kind of thing? Why are we so freaking focused on things that don't matter? Don't get it.
Are you drunk? Are you drunk? There's kids. There's kids.
Oh yeah, videos and I get that every day. I'm on all kinds of websites. Okay?
That's great. It'll be on YouTube too.
Oh God. I just feel the need to remind us that these are adults. These are not kids. We're not looking at a kindergarten class. We're looking at adults in a Walmart or some kind of Best Buy or something. Yeah, there's some good comments rolling. Let's see. Let me stop. I saw a couple good comments. Darn it. I don't want to miss your comments, guys. That's one of the reasons why we're here. Yeah, Stan says, "Where's the feminism now?" Stellar Door 777 says they're programmed by the TV ads. I'm not familiar with what programming would make them act like this. Okay, maybe you want that TV, maybe you want that product, but do you go about it in this way? You know, what's going on there? Deplorable says best dogs ever. I think are you talking about the Australian Shepherds? Man, those things are so freaking smart. I had a Malinois when I had some property. That is the best. I mean, I'm not saying best as in like there's no better dog, but that was one of the best dogs I ever had. Malinois, Australian Shepherds are so freaking smart, man. You can train them like that. It doesn't take long at all. They catch on and they are high energy all day long. And if you don't have property, you're doing those dogs a great disservice because it's almost like in their nature, they gotta run. They gotta do something. They have to have their mind directed. If you don't direct their minds, if you don't let them expend their energy, they can become basket cases real quick. But I agree with you, man. Those dogs are just phenomenal. Phenomenal dogs, the Australian Shepherd. Thanks for that super chat, man. Let's see who gave the super chat. I'll do this super chat right now, and whoever gives me super chat after this, I'll deal with those later, just so we can keep going with the stream. Yojo says, why can't we get people to be this dedicated to taking on the elite / political overlord? I totally agree, man. They obviously have it in them to be this passionate about something. Why can't they direct their attention, direct their time, direct their resources, direct their energies into taking on things that really matter, that are really going to produce positive results in this life? And it'll benefit them greatly. This kind of stuff that they're involved in right here is not benefiting them at all. As a matter of fact, it's working to their detriment and they don't even know it. Yeah, ZK, actually, that's a really good point. ZK says that's not passion, it's addiction. Yeah, what are they addicted to? They're addicted to material things. Remember that song by Madonna? Living in a material world. And it's just true. At least she's telling the truth. She's a material girl. These people are so material. You think on your deathbed, you're going to be saying, God, I wish I fought harder over that flat screen TV or that Game Boy. You know, whatever the gaming things are now. No, you're going to be, man, I wish I spent more time like training my children how to be a more a more kind, compassionate, considerate adult. Train them in the art of self-defense. Train them how to defend themselves and their families when things go down, not if things go down, but when they go down. That's why I like watching this stuff because we can learn a lot from humanity who's gone adrift, astray. You can learn a lot from them. As a matter of fact, you can learn a lot from your last mistake. The best teacher you will ever have, if you pay attention, is your last mistake. If you learn from your last mistake, you will automatically become a better person today than you were yesterday, and you'll be a better person tomorrow than you are today because you'll be like, you know what? I made a mistake. I messed up. I shouldn't have done it. I did it. It's over. I'm going to go on. I'm not going to get depressed about it, but I am going to learn from it, and I am going to be a better person. Isn't that really what life's all about? To improve, to be a better person? It looks like these people have absolutely no desire to be better people at all. If this is what they're going to do in broad daylight, in the middle of a supermarket or grocery store or whatever this is, a department store, what do they do when the doors are closed and nobody has any camera rolling?
Get your breath stank. Get out of the damn bed.
Escape from Zombie Island said, please don't sing again. Living in a material world. And
You're in my. I got to pay for this.
And you don't scare nobody.
And you don't scare me. You don't get nobody. You are. Come on, get the hell away your breath. Don't tell me what you decided. Disrespect. I'm gonna make you say it.
that's kind of slow. Let's go. We need some fist slinging. We're looking for, there we go.
I can't record in the store? Why can't I record when I'm getting that poor customer service? You're seriously telling me I can't record when I'm getting poor customer service? You were telling me that I have to leave without my purchased items. You were telling me that you're going to escort me out of the store before I got my purchased items. That's what you said.
This is moving slow. Let's look at some real Black Friday stuff going on here. All right, let me catch up on some. David Brandt says we've lost our way. Barry White says people talking about the Jays again. I'll clarify my position on the Jays if you guys want me to. I don't pick out any people group. I judge people by their own actions. If they're doing evil, I call them out as evil. I don't care what color their skin is. I don't care what their gender is. I'll call them out because that's the just thing to do. I would not want, and the reason I do that is because I would not want somebody judging all white men and grouping me in with all white men. There are some white men who do some heinous freaking stuff. All I have to do, you don't have to look past anybody but, Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer or Charles Manson. Oh yeah, all white guys are like that. I would hate to be grouped into that kind of thing. So you don't group Jays into, just because, you can be a Zionist and not be a Jay. You can be an American, you can be an Australian, you can be an European and be a Zionist. Zionism is it's an ideology. It's not a race. Jim Jones was okay, says Don. Oh my gosh. Was Manson CIA? It kind of looks like that, Jeff. It kind of looks like Manson was CIA and that whole thing was some kind of a psychological operation. Things just didn't add up in that. I was going to do a video on that a little while ago because I was looking at some things and I was thinking, you know what? All my life I've believed what mainstream media said about Charles Manson. Why don't I just disconnect from it and just take it from scratch? And if you look at it from that perspective, things look really, really off about the Charles Manson case. What did somebody say about Jews? Ned Sellers says, Brian, you're absolutely correct. There is a cabal. Yeah, well, I mean, all you have to do is go to Jekyll Island, Georgia, and there's a plaque on the wall inside that resort that says the Federal Reserve was born here. In 1913, when the Federal Reserve came online, and even before that, we were already shackled, okay? But definitely after that, when the Federal Reserve came online, we lost every one of our rights. Do we have vestiges of our rights right now? Yes. Do we have the ability to move freely, whereas in other countries you can't? Yes. But don't relax on that. Don't become a happy slave, because we are slaves on a plantation, and until we take care of the root of the problem, we'll remain slaves on the plantation. Don't delude yourself into believing that you're not a slave. If you don't own your property, you're a slave. And you don't own your property. Oh yeah, Brian, I paid for my house outright. I own it. I don't have a mortgage on it. Yeah, but do you pay property taxes? If you can't opt out of property taxes, and if you fail to pay your property taxes, guess what? They're going to foreclose on your house. You're not free. You're a slave. You don't own that house. You're just basically a tenant, and your landlord is the government. Don't delude yourself into believing that you're not a slave. Jeff says, do that Manson video. I might do that. I might do that. Nicholas Brown says, people caught on the Apollo hoax, so they had to cover Manson murders and Woodstock, all happening in 3 weeks. What, 3 weeks from each other? Is that what you're saying there? I have not considered that angle. Did that all happen around the Apollo moon landing? Do I believe we went to the moon? No, I don't have to believe that we went to the moon. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying what happened. I'm just saying what I don't think did happen. All of mainstream media said we went to the moon. So I'm inclined to believe the exact opposite. I think if you believe the opposite of what mainstream media tries to shovel down your gullet, you're probably better off. Oh my God, I'm out of here. I'm unsubscribing. He doesn't even believe we went to the moon. You don't believe basics like we went to the moon? No, I don't believe those basics. Just like I don't believe the basics about the 9/11 official story. Just like I don't believe the basics about weapons of mass destruction. I don't believe the basics about what mainstream media is constantly trying to shove it down our throats. I mean, think about this. Think about this, guys. Think about this. Ashley Banfield and Nancy Grace from CNN they don't even have to lie about this. Why did they do it? They're saying they're thousands of miles apart on a remote locations, and they're sitting in the same freaking parking lot with the same cars driving by. That's just one type. That doesn't even set the knife to the ice to scratch the surface. That's just one. Why would they do that? You don't have to do that. But if they're gonna do that, what else are they doing? If they're gonna do that and we can easily verify it, what else are they doing behind our backs to distract, to deceive, and to divide us? So don't believe for a second just because mainstream media said we went to the moon that we went to the moon. Don't believe for a second because they said there are weapons of mass destruction. We need to go in and attack. We need to rally the troops and we need to start a war. Don't think for a second there are weapons of mass destruction. Don't think for a second that, oh yeah, those buildings did not fall by controlled demolition. They fell because 2 planes hit the buildings. Okay, let me get this straight. 2 planes crashed into 2 buildings, but 3 steel-framed office buildings came down neatly into their own footprint. 2 planes destroyed 3 buildings. Sorry, not buying it. Not buying it. With even NIST said that the building 7, World Trade 7, which if you ask the average American and you say, hey, in Manhattan on September 11th, 2001, how many buildings collapsed that day? They'll say 2. Most Americans today, what is this? 18 years removed. Most Americans do not know that a 3rd building fell that day. A 47-story steel frame office structure collapsed neatly into its own footprint at 5:20 p.m. on September 11th. Before BBC, Jane Stanley got up there and said, the Solomon Brothers building, World Trade 7, has collapsed while it's standing in the background. I've shown this to you. Tell me that if that's not a conspiracy, I don't know what is. At least the BBC had insider information that World Trade 7 was going to collapse, and they reported on it as though it did collapse 20 minutes before it collapsed. So don't tell me, yeah, you're out to lunch, you're a conspiracy theorist because you don't believe in the moon landing or WMDs or the official 9/11 story. And then there's JFK, they got the Manson murders, you got all that stuff. You can't believe any of it. You'd be better off not believing it. The reason we have people right here lined up at Target and Walmart and Best Buys knocking each other over and punching each other in the face so they can get the latest electronics or, toaster or whatever, or Shark vacuum cleaner, is because Shark vacuum cleaner.
Looking at one online.
Oh, you're looking at the Shark vacuum cleaner right now?
That and the Dyson.
Are you thinking about going out to Black Friday?
Hell no.
She goes, hell no. The only reason they're doing that is because they've been wired, they've been programmed with 24/7 psychological CIA infiltrated mainstream fake stream media operations. That's what it is. And then they look at us like we are crazy. You gotta be kidding me. Just put me in a straitjacket and throw me in a padded cell if I ever just believe CNN. That's why I call it the Communist News Network or the Clinton News Network or the Clown News Network or the Counterfeit News Network. Because they're out there it sounds George Orwellian, 1984-ish. It sounds outlandish. It sounds made up to say, yeah, they're all stacked against you. They just wanted to distract, deceive, and divide you. It sounds conspiratorial, but there are things called conspiracies where one party conspires against the other party. The other party who's getting conspired against, though, just so happens to be you and me. And they don't call it television programming for nothing. They are literally trying to program our brains to think a certain way, to act a certain way. That's why these people are doing what they're doing. They're acting a certain way because they've been programmed. And it seems crazy to watch a bunch of adults act like a bunch of kindergartners, but they do. Why? Part of that, a big chunk of that, if you looked at a graph, a big chunk of what's going on with that brain activity is that they've been programmed with propaganda, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week news cycles. How else do you explain it? Is there a better explanation? I don't know. If there is, lay it on me. By the way, I'm really glad you guys are spending time with me on Black Friday. Is everybody good? By the way, if you just joined us, here, let me just do this. If you just joined us, this is the Black Friday special from High Impact Vlog, speaking to you live from a private bunker. Well, it's not a bunker. If it was a bunker, I wouldn't be going outside right now. Live from Tahlequah, Oklahoma, it's the Black Friday special. Here's the weather in Tahlequah. It's about 45 minutes east of Tulsa. I didn't see any spraying yesterday, but it's fairly chilly. It's about it's upper 30s, lower 40s. Hope everybody's doing good. We're gonna get back to this in a second. Just wanted to take a little break there. Appreciate all my moderators taking care of beeswax. This is the command center. That's the command center. All right. People are like, Brian, we don't care. Let's get back to business. All right. Here we go. Back to the insanity. Live from a undisclosed bunker. Ludite Love says, hasn't stopped snowing for over 24 hours up here. Where's here, Ludite? It's been snowing for over 24 hours? Holy mackerel. Let me get this focused in. Deborah says, same weather here in West Virginia. They don't need to spray every day, plus they spray above the clouds, says Tim Butler. Anarchy for your average Joe. Brian, research Hyperborea. Let's see. The Godfather says that barrier won't last. Oh yeah, this barrier right here. That one? Yeah. Let's see. Jeff Goldblum says, my grandma lived in Edmond. How far are you from there? Edmond's about 3 hours from here, isn't it, babe?
Is that by Oklahoma City?
Edmond. Let's see. I'm not picturing Edmond in my mind right now. I've been to Edmond, but I can't remember. I know it's west of here. Pretty much everything in Oklahoma is west from where I am because I'm pretty close to the Arkansas line on the east side of the state. Barry White says happy merchants. Let's see. Ronan says show girlfriend.
Not today.
Nobody's got Kingman, Arizona snowing also. All right, let's get back to this. Let's get back to the insanity. If you're just joining us, these are Black Friday mayhem events that happened in the past, not necessarily today, even though this guy says he posted it on November 29th. I think this is just a compilation of other Black Friday events in the past, all still in play, by the way. People still act like this today, and they'll act like this next year and the year after that, and they've done it, for a decade or so now. I don't remember, babe, when you were growing up, do you remember people doing Black Friday events? I don't remember that as a kid. My mom and dad never went out and
No, I don't remember that at all.
I don't. Hey guys, when did the Black Friday phenomenon start? Do you guys know? I guess I could. It's like, you know what? People ask you questions, and it's like everybody's got access to Google. So let's Google it. When did Black Friday begin? I don't know the answer to that question. When did Black? Oh yeah, here we go. When did Black Friday shopping start? When did Black Friday become a thing? The first recorded use of the term Black Friday was applied not to holiday shopping, but to the financial crisis, specifically the crash of the U.S. gold market on September 24th, 1869. Yeah, but we're talking about shopping Black Friday. This is totally different Black Friday. Oh, I'm sure we can trust Wikipedia. I still do read Wikipedia. You got to take everything they say with a grain of salt. If they have references and you can cross-reference it, that's one thing. Black Friday is an informal name for the Friday following Thanksgiving Day in the United States, which was celebrated on the 4th of, let's see, has been regarded as the beginning of America's Christmas shopping season since 1952, although the term Black Friday did not become widely used until more recent decades. Black Friday has routinely been the busiest shopping day of the year in the United States since 2005, they say. In 2014, spending volume on Black Friday fell for the first time since 2008 recession. Let's see. God, 50.9. If that's true, like I say, Wikipedia, take everything with a grain of salt, but there is some stuff you can glean from it. 50.9 billion was spent during the 4-day Black Friday weekend, down 11% from the pre. $50.9 billion that Americans, broke Americans, in debt Americans, spent on junk they don't need, can't afford, and will probably sell in the next yard sale event in their area. Amazing. I wonder when it really did start. History of Black Friday. When did it really start? This is from thebalance.com. Let's see. The history of Black Friday started much earlier than people think. The day after Thanksgiving has been the unofficial beginning of the Christmas season since the late 19th century, when President Abraham Lincoln designated the Thanksgiving holiday as the last Thursday in November. Oh gosh, that's by government edict. Oh gosh, Thanksgiving is the last Thursday in November because of President Abraham Lincoln. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. Babe, did you know that?
No.
Lincoln designated the last Thursday of November as Thanksgiving Day. The chat has frozen. Oh, there it goes. Did you guys know that? Did not know that. Oh, there's a lag. American woman says she remembers Black Friday in the 80s. Ray Fang Lee says, oh shoot, I lost it. Ray Fang Lee says, check out video, The True History of Thanksgiving and Black Friday from A Plain Truth. It's all predetermined, says Johnny. I didn't know that. I didn't know that either, man. The day after Thanksgiving wasn't called Black Friday then. The name was associated with September 24th, 1869. Two speculators, Jay Gould and James Frisk, created a boom and bust in gold prices. Yeah, see, now people call that capitalism, but that meddling in the affairs of any market is not the free market and therefore is corporatism. A lot of people have a problem with capitalism, which, guys, all capitalism is. Here's like, you don't need a 25-cent college definition for capitalism or communism or socialism. Capitalism is simply me wanting your candy bar and willing to give you $1 for it, and you being willing to give up your candy bar for $1. So you want my dollar more than you want your candy bar, and I want your candy bar more than I want my dollar. And so we have a voluntary, mutually consensual exchange of goods. You get my dollar, I get your Snickers bar or candy bar or whatever it is. That's capitalism. No coercion, no force, no theft, no violence, no third party getting involved in the transaction. But when you have Jay Gould right here, where it says, and put my spectacles back on there. Hey, you got your spectacles on. You better do. You better believe I do. Jay Gould and James Frisk created a boom and bust in gold prices. When you have intervention in the market like that, you automatically don't have a free market, and therefore capitalism vanishes and becomes something called corporatism. Corporatism is not capitalism. People are all up in arms about capitalism, and they engage in it every single day, so they're hypocrites. They go to the store and they buy things without forcing somebody, without coercing somebody. People who are the most against capitalism are the ones who involve themselves in it every single day. Why? Because people are normally, naturally peaceful people and don't want to force other people against their will and without their consent. The stock market crash followed as prices fell 20%. The disruption in gold prices sent commodity prices plummeting 50%. Can you even imagine that? Corruption in Tammany Hall allowed Gould and Fisk to escape without punishment. In 1905, the Canadian department store Eaton's began the first Thanksgiving Day parade by bringing Santa on a wagon through the streets of downtown Toronto. That's all it took. Everybody come out to the streets. That's why I did that video the other day about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Macy's is literally a bankrupt corporation closing many, many, many stores because they can't afford to stay open. They can't compete against an Amazon. They can't compete against online sales. And yet Macy's sits there as kind of a reminder of what government is to us. Government and politicians are like, no, you can trust us. We'll make everything okay. We'll make everybody safer. We'll make everybody more prosperous. Macy's is sitting there going, hey, just relax. We got this taken care of. We can afford this parade. No, they can't. Just buy into our deception, buy into our lies, buy into the fact that everything's hunky-dory in America. 3.5 million people spill into the streets of New York City. 50 million people watch it from televisions at home. And everybody's immersed in this lie that everything's okay in America. A-okay, America's strong. $23 trillion in debt? Don't think you're that strong. Add unfunded liabilities like Social Security and Medicare. It comes up to 120 to 150 trillion freaking dollars. No, you're not strong. You're in debt. And debt so deep that none of your posterity will ever be able to pay off the interest, let alone the entire debt. And somebody made a really good point. We're not actually in debt. It's the banker's debt. But they foisted it onto us through this Title 28, Section 3002 federal corporation to make us believe that it's our debt. We didn't accrue that debt. The people who accrued the debt, that's their debt. That isn't our debt, but they call it the national debt. As though you could get out your credit card today and buy something at Lowe's or Home Depot or something, and then I can somehow transfer that debt to my neighbor. It doesn't happen that. It doesn't work that way. You can't do that. But they do it, and they try to foist it on us and make us believe it, and then they make us believe that we're the ones in debt. As a matter of fact, if you go to the national debt clock, look at this. They even foist it. It's a lie. It's a lie. If they foist it on the national debt clock. The national debt clock is actually a really good tool, guys. but it tells lies. National debt clock. It's so funny when you go into Google, or usually I use DuckDuckGo. I'm using Google right now just because it happens to be pulled up. But watch the national debt clock in real time. Look what they say about, oh man, this is the wrong one. My computer's super slow because I have the alternate screen right here pulled up. And I'm all hooked into this USB port right here. And this computer needs upgrade. Needs upgrade bad. Need upgrade bad. Kimosabi, need upgrade. Okay, watch this. This is, according to the national debt, we're $23 trillion in debt, okay? They're actually, first of all, they call us citizen. You're not a citizen. You're an individual. You're not a citizen. You're a person, not a citizen. I'll deal with that in a separate video. But this citizen idea it makes you buy into government lies from right off the bat. So debt per citizen, if you were to, I'm just going to use their term citizen, you're going to scatter that $23 trillion worth of, quote, national debt onto every citizen, which, according to census bureaus, is 327 million people in the United States. So 23 trillion divided by 327 million should come out to around $70,000 per person, not citizen. But debt load per taxpayer, they say each one of the taxpayers, see, they're just calling you a taxpayer. You're not a taxpayer, you're a person. You're not a citizen, you're a person, but they want you to believe you're a citizen and a taxpayer because they want you to believe that you're like a fish on the hook for all this money, and you're really not. It's all a lie. And the reason I'm talking about all this stuff is because it does factor into this Black Friday idea of, oh, look at all these citizens. Look at all these indebted citizens. They're not just indebted citizens, they're indebted taxpayers. You're a taxpayer. Taxpayer? Nobody pays to, yeah, Trish says I prefer human. I do too.
Also a legal term.
What's that?
Person is also a legal term.
Yeah, I like human, but you're a human being. You're a being. You're not a citizen. You're not a taxpayer. You're a being. And these terms right here serve to dehumanize you. Citizen, dehumanize. Taxpayer, dehumanize. They might as well just call it tax cattle, because that's how they treat us. They treat us like these mesmerized sheep on this drone thing we just saw. All these sheep right here being herded by all these dogs, which are the politicians. That's how they want us to view ourselves. And if we could ever get out of that programming, that deep-seated, decades, centuries-long programming that we're cattle, that we're citizens, that we're taxpayers, we can literally make some headway in this world. We are not this, but we act like this. We act like sheeple because of this crap right here. And then we wonder why people act like this right here. It's all cyclical, guys. This is all part of the psychological operations and programming. Change my mind. If I'm wrong, change my mind. Use logic to change my mind. But I always come back to the Amschel Rothschilds thing. If you give me control over a nation's money, I care not who makes its laws. It's irrelevant to me. It doesn't matter to me. I have the purse strings. I have the control. I have the fiat currency Ponzi scheme. I'm a Zionist international banker, they would say. They don't say it, but they might as well, because the gig is up. We know. We already know. We got their number.
Your mama wanted you come here messing with her. Your mama.
Jace Ventura said dogs are the cops, farmers are the bankers. Eric Farmer says debt per slave. Let's see. A lot of you guys are putting in some Drone Wolf. What's up, man? How you doing? Drone Wolf Media. Check out his website. He's got some his channel. It's called Drone Wolf Media. He's got some really, really cool drone shots. Christmas, as we know it, celebrated on the 25th with your tree decorated in gold and silver is satanic. I've seen that a lot. I've seen people say that a lot. Only Truth says that ain't my debt. Ain't no taxpayer. Haven't been in 30 years. See, I want to get a bunch of people like you guys together and talk about that, because there's a lot of people out here who don't understand how to get into that situation without putting themselves in danger. Because let's face it, you will be targeted by the IRS if you stop paying the extortion fee. It's not taxes, it's the extortion fee. There's no such thing as a taxpayer. Yeah, you pay your light bill. You pay your electric bill. You pay for your house. You pay for your groceries. You don't pay for your taxes. Your taxes are extorted. They're taken from you by the threat of force. A barrel of a government gun is always pointed at you if you don't give the extortion fee. And when you don't give the extortion fee, they don't take too kindly to that, because then they call you a tax evader. And now all of a sudden you're a criminal because you didn't let the government extort the product of your time and laboring energies. So that's a good point, man. You should be using Firefox. I'm actually on This is my Firefox browser. It's just that I was using the Google search. I don't have Google Chrome open. I was just using the Google search. I do use Firefox. All right, let's see. What else? Yeah, the cyclone bomb. All right, let's watch this.
World bully.
That's just pathetic, man. That's somebody's dad, somebody's brother, somebody's uncle. What a horrible. I don't know what they're fighting over. Maybe somebody was threatening, let's just say it was over some materialistic good. That's pitiful if that's why they're fighting. Yay, I get to buy this box, this idiot box that I can turn my mind off and just veg out and just let the programmers have my mind. Here, I'll take 2 of them. Is that a little kid? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Tell me these people aren't going to be easy to control. Oh, here we go. Open the gates for the sheep. Here we go. Duck under. Go. Oh my God. All right, Jeff George, I'm going to read some super chats real quick. Jeff George says, Epstein has painting in his mansion. FBI took it. Bush Jr. with 2 paper airplanes, 2 block towers demolished. Bush sitting Indian style laughing, scary. Do you have proof of that? I've never seen or heard that. I'm not disbelieving you. I'd like to see that. Yojo says, why can't we get people to be this dedicated to taking on the elite political overlords? Yeah, I've read that. Thanks for the super chat, guys. Yeah, that's true. Look at this. Look at the zeal. Look at the zeal of these people. So zealous to get the latest piece of crap that's going to be obsolete in less than a year.
What?
live your life in like it'd probably be a good idea to live your life in such a way where you, when you look back on your actions, you're not ashamed of it. And not one of these people can say that about this incident. So if they're honest with themselves, they would never say, heck yeah, like say, let's say they make it to their 60s, 70s, or 80s and look back on that. Look back on the time when, yeah, remember when we stormed the gates of Target? Remember when we stormed the gates of Best Buy? Remember when we camped out and froze our butts off for 48 hours before that crock pot special? I'd do that again in a heartbeat. No, they're not going to look back on that. If they're honest with themselves, they are not going to look back on that and say, yeah, I would do it all again so that I could be a good example to my kids and my neighbors and just everybody who views my actions from the outside. But then again, people are so programmed, they're so sold on materialism that maybe they would look back on that.
Wait! Oh my God! Wait! Guys, wait!
Yeah, Dorf Googlestein says income tax is literally illegal. There's no law for it. Even if there was, it's immoral. I don't care about legality and illegality. I care about morality and immorality, and it's not right for one man to steal the product of the time and laboring energies of another man. It just isn't. You wouldn't want that done to you, so don't do that to somebody else. I don't care if you call yourself an agent of government. I don't care if you surround yourself with people who call themselves Congress. I don't care if you're a senator. I don't care if you're a politician. I don't care if you're, a law enforcer. You have no right to take the property of another person without their consent. You don't have a right. So this illegality and legality is also a government mental construct that's part of the programming. All these people, the reason we're watching this today, guys, is because all these people have been programmed in their minds to follow the dictates of their minds, and we're seeing that pouring out in their just ridiculous actions, their unthinking sheep-like actions. It's just nonsense, guys. I'm gonna look at these people pushing on the doors. I've muted this for a second. Look at the doors bowing out. Industrial grade doors bowing out. Look at this. I wonder if those doors are gonna fall off. I've never seen this one. Look at these are industrial grade doors, guys. Look, they're bowing in. They're going to take them out. They've already taken this one out. Look at this. Amazing. Property damage because I got to get my stuff. I almost tend to agree. Keen on those good vibrations, sold with no souls. It's just your conscience has to be seared to engage in this kind of activity right here. Impact says disgusting. Russell Grant says these aren't people. Micah Fox Music says Masail. I need my roads. I need my electronics. I need my toaster. Yeah, I mean, I see people saying, blacks. Yeah, there's white people too. I mean, not in this one right here, but we've already seen white people. It's not about being black or white, guys. It's about being brain dead. I got a lot of black friends who would never think about attending a Black Friday sale. So it's not about blacks. It's about the mentality. Every one of these individuals right here has the opportunity to do something better, and they don't. They just don't. Yeah, actually, Galaxy Traveler says, Brian, what about healthcare and services that taxes help pay for? Yeah, it's still extortion. It doesn't even matter what the reasoning is. Here's the deal. Here's the deal with taxes. And do you remember? I always say this about William Pitt the Younger. Necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. Every infringement. Think about it. Every politician says, we got to do this. Climate change in the next 11 or 12 years, it's all over. If we don't do something now, we got to do something now. Good intentions or necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. We got to give people universal health care. People are dying. People are dying. Yeah, good intentions. Necessity is the plea for every infringement of human rights, the infringement of human rights. It's the necessity is the plea. It's the smokescreen. It's the justification. Let's say I have a neighbor who has a child, a little 4-year-old child who's a quadriplegic, or just happened to be a burn victim. Maybe their house burned down and the child made it out, but 90-degree burns over his or her entire body. And then I extorted money from my neighbors. I went to my neighbor's house, put a gun in their face and say, if you don't pay for their hospital bills, I'm pulling the trigger, or I'm throwing your ass in jail, or I'm going to kidnap you. It's wrong. It's immoral. Yeah, it's a good cause. Let's help that little kid who's got burns over 90% of his or her body. But don't commit immorality to do it. It doesn't make it right, no matter what your good sounding motive is. Elizabeth Warren, we're going to wipe out $1.7 trillion worth of college debt, student loan debt. Sounds good, but I don't care what your justification is. You got to steal money from people to do it. Oh, what we're going to do is we're going to put a 2% tax on people making above $50 million. Still doesn't make it right. I don't care if they made above $50 or $500 million or $5 trillion. Stealing 1 penny from a billionaire is wrong. Stealing 1 penny from a trillionaire is wrong. Why? Because you stole property that didn't belong to you. So it doesn't matter what the justification is. The justification is just a smokescreen to keep you distracted, deceived, and divided, and to get you buying onto, oh yeah, 90% of that little child's body, we must do something. We must point a gun, a collective government gun, in the faces of people so that we can take care of that little kid. No, it's still wrong. It's still immorality. That's why I'm against the legal, illegal argument. Because there are things that are legal that are 100% immoral. Off the top of my head, I can think of a big one. What would be the first thing that comes to your mind of something that is legal? In other words, it's government sanctioned, government approved, it's got the endorsement of the president and the Congress. It's legal, but it's 100% immoral. Go. Name one thing that comes off the top of your head. My word starts with an A. Yeah, well, I didn't think about the draft. Yeah, I'm thinking abortion. Did anybody say abortion? J-Bass said abortion. Okay, so it's legal to kill a little baby in the womb, but it's 100% immoral. That's a human being. It's literally legal. It's open season to kill the people that should be the safest in this world, a baby in the mother's womb. It's entirely legal. Who gives a damn? It's immoral. Or how about something that's illegal, but is neither moral nor immoral? The first thing that comes to my mind is the war on drugs, which isn't a war on drugs. It's a war on people. It's perfectly legal to keep certain people from owning firearms. A lot of people from owning firearms. You have to have a background check. You have to ask the government for permission. It's legal, but it's immoral to bar anybody from a personal protection device that could literally save their lives and the lives of their family. So this legal and illegal thing, it's nothing. It's magic pixie dust. It's nothing. All legality is based on a man-made law, which is no law at all. It's just an edict or an opinion of a politician backed by the threat of force. Every single law is backed by the threat of government, what they would term gun violence. That's what makes it wrong. Oh, but we have good motives. We do this out of necessity. We do it out of necessity. Well, necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. It's the argument of tyrants. It's the creed of slaves. Why is it the argument of tyrants? It's the argument of tyrants because they know if they can hoodwink the masses, these masses right here, and it's easy to hoodwink those masses. If we can hoodwink the masses into believing that it's necessary, then we can voice our criminal activity on them with ease. It's like taking candy from a baby. Just tell them that we need to do it. It's for your own good. It's for your own safety. Give up a little bit of your safety, give up a little bit of your liberty, and we promise we will give you security. And that leads us to Ben Franklin's quote. Anybody who would give up a little essential liberty to obtain a little bit of politically promised security deserves neither liberty nor security. And that's what they've primed the pump in the masses through 24-hour psychological operations programming to receive, is this idea of legality and illegality. And oh, you gotta vote. You gotta vote. Vote for what? I don't want a ruler. And I don't want a ruler over me. And I sure as heck don't want to pick a ruler over somebody else because nobody has the legitimate right to rule over another person against their will and without their consent. So why would I vote for that? Basically, I'm voting to have somebody impose their will over the will of other people. And that would be evil. And I just can't do it. You don't understand. If we don't vote, things will never change. You don't understand. You have voted and things keep getting worse. How, for example, are we $23 trillion in debt? Because you kept voting. You thought, hope and change, things will get better, but they never do. But the reason they never do is because we keep doing the same things we've been doing, so we keep getting the same things we've been getting, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And this is where I lose a lot of people. A lot of people will unsubscribe from me for that. But just give me your logic that refutes what I'm laying down. Pick up what I'm laying down and strangle it and shove it in my face and go, you're freaking wrong. Where is it? I mean, are we illogical people or are we illogical people? Do we choose to be moral people or do we choose to be immoral people? You don't understand. Trump's going to change everything. Really? Explain civil asset forfeiture then. Explain the increase in the coffers of the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about back in the freaking 50s. We haven't learned since the 1950s that the military-industrial complex 100% of the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, works against the American people. And we're going to increase their coffers. Obama did it. And you people who are for Trump were 100% against him. Trump does it. It's like, whoa, hey, he must be playing 5D chess. Things must be okay. He's got the deep state right where he wants him. Yeah, keep on deluding yourself. Because that's all it is delusion. No, Trump's going to help us. Trump's going to help us. You know how I know? Because I like take the guns first, due process second, Trump. Yeah, that's the guy I want. I'm for the Second Amendment, but I'm also for Trump. No, you're not. You're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite in your own mind. And you've solidified yourself in cognitive dissonance because now you have to hold, or you feel like you have to hold two contradictory ideas in your own mind. Are you for the Second Amendment or are you for Trump? Because you can't be for both because Trump's against the Second Amendment. He's proved that because the White House came out and said they're for red flag laws. But I like Trump. Oh, then you hate the Second Amendment. No, I love the Second Amendment. No, you can't love the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed, and be for somebody who's going to just wholesale infringe. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, nice try, if you want to call it a try, but it doesn't work that way. All right, let me catch up on, let's watch some more madness. Is everybody okay? Hey, give me a thumbs up if you want me to keep going. We're already, oh shoot, my battery's low. How am I going to plug this in? I don't have an extra power cord. We got to get an extra power cord here. Okay, hold on 1 second. I got to unplug. Wait a second. How am I going to do that? My phone just said, hey, babe, can you give me no, I have a charging cord. I just don't have the room. Well, maybe I can pull this over here like, huh. Okay, I just plugged it in, but I got to be at a slant because my cord only reaches so far. All right, let's watch some more madness. If you guys want to talk about what I just talked about, oh, first of all, let me ask you, do you want me to keep going? Because we are an hour and 25 minutes into this shoot. I really didn't expect to go this long. I always say that too. I can't believe how fast time flies. It's already 12:07. Do you guys want to keep going? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'll do what you guys want to do. I basically wanted to hang out with you guys, show you the madness here that we can expect on Black Fridays. I think we all knew it, but it's really interesting to examine actually this is the fruit of psychological operations in spades. You literally have before you what happens to the human mind and how they direct their actions as a direct result of years and years of psychological operations. Thumbs up. Oh, wow, that's a lot of thumbs up. Okay, keep going. Keep going. I just got it here. Okay, cool. Do you guys want to talk about, because I'm open, guys. I really, I'm the kind of person who I want to be optimistic, and I wanted Trump to be different. I wanted him to be that outsider, and I really wanted to see it. But I have to be honest with myself. I don't see him as any different from your run-of-the-mill Obama type, Hillary Clinton type, Richard Nixon type of sociopath, narcissistic, psychopathic, megalomaniac who just does what the powers that be tell him to do. Where am I wrong? Where am I wrong? Who disagrees with that? Both wings, same bird, says Mighty Warrior. I'm going to read some of your stuff here. I love reading your stuff, guys. Mighty Warrior said that. OG Gamer X says William Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, 1991. Great stuff. Matter of fact, if you guys go ahead and get on my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com, I will send that ebook out again. I think I sent it out to my subscribers about 3 or 4 months ago. I'll send out the entire PDF book. It costs you nothing. I give everything away for free on my email list. Triple Digit says Burn the Witch. I'm assuming you're talking about the Clinton character. DJ Drizzy says correct. Josh Rick says Virginia is getting ready for Demon Rats 2020. Let's see. Tim O'Neill says Trump is rich. It's his nature to stab backs. And not only that, but he's been bailed out. How many times by the banksters? He's beholden to the bankers who bailed him out. The bankers are inextricably tied to the Federal Reserve Rothschilds cartel. He's beholden to them. How can Trump possibly be different when he's doing the same things that other political parasites have done? Let's see. All right, let's play this and I'll read some more chats. Josie Smith, what are you saying? Like what? To what? What's your question? Like what? What same things? That's to Josie Smith. Is that what you're saying? Let me just name a couple things off the top of my head. And I do this almost every time I go on a live stream, but sorry, my cord is, I got to do this right here because my cord won't reach. Civil asset forfeiture, red flag laws, increase the coffers of the military industrial complex, put Goldman Sachs Zionist international banking cartel member as the Treasury Secretary. That's Steve Mnuchin. How can you give the keys to the fox to say, hey, keep the hen house safe, when that fox is going to do nothing but destroy the hens, which is what Steve Mnuchin is and has done to the Treasury Reserve. Trump's already increased the national debt. He's on pace to far outpace Obama. So I can go down the list and keep on going, but I really don't have to go any further than red flag laws. If you are going to be a politician who says he's for the people, put his hand on the Bible and raised his right hand toward heaven and said, I'm going to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when I see Constitution, I don't look at all the amendments. I look at the first 10, okay? I'm going to hold them accountable just to the first 10, specifically 1, 2, 4, and 10, okay? 1, 2, 4, and 10 are what's in my purview is like top cream of the crop, top of the bucket there. If you're going to come against shall not be infringed, you're against my family. You're against everybody I know. You're against all my friends, everybody in this room, all of America you're against, and literally by extension, you're against the world, because if you weaken America, you weaken the entire world. We could literally be the strongest nation if a president got up and said, I am going to issue executive order 5000-06289 or whatever. The hell yeah shall not be infringed bill. And all it says is hell yeah shall not be infringed, period. But he's not. He's for take the guns first, due process second. He's already issued the White House decree of, yeah, we're for red flag laws to keep people safe. You don't really have to look at all the mountains and mountains and mountains of things that he's added on top of like the bomb dropping far outweighs the bomb dropping of Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the most narcissistic psychopath that I've seen in recent years. You know, people are like, "Oh, he's a great orator. He can speak. He really gives that administrative flair to the presidential office." He's a psychopath just because he can talk okay. Although when you look at him, he's if without his teleprompter, Obama was nothing. Although he could speak way more articulately than Trump, but who cares? Give me somebody who's dumb and can't really speak at all and fumbles with his words and goes, you know what, y'all? I know I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Give me like a Barney Fife, not even an Andy Griffith. Give me a Barney Fife, unassuming, not powerful, not a motivational speaker, not articulate. You know, all this stuff is smokescreen. And people are like, oh, I like Obama. Look how much smarter Obama is. I don't even care about intelligence. Just give me morality. Just give me morality. If you're going to have, I'm just saying, if you're going to have a president, just give me somebody who just wants morality. I know I'm backwoods from the hills of Tennessee, but I'm running for president for one reason only. I really believe people should be free and just left alone. So my first decree is I'm dissolving Washington's District of Criminals because they just do a bunch of harm and, fumbling over his words, not ever reading a teleprompter, not polished. And I'll tell you what, I ain't never going to fly on that Air Force One because I got on and did a Google search and I found out that it would cost me, actually, it would cost you $186,000 a second. And folks, I can't sleep at night if I'm going to be charging you that kind of money just so I could jet set to Afghanistan and talk to the troops while they guard the poppy fields. Wait a second. Okay, so executive order number 1, I'm dissolving Washington's District of Criminals. Number 2, I'm going to ground Air Force One and Air Force Two. I'm firing all of my staff because they're just a bunch of blood-sucking parasites. I mean, Congress has 535 people making $174,000 a year. That's like $85 an hour. I don't know nobody making no $85 an hour. Before I became president, I was making $8.50 flipping hamburgers over at Wallaby Burgers because they were McDonald's competition. And I don't eat at McDonald's because it's all poisonous food. And they got that GMO Franken food that's killing people. And I worked up at Wallaby Burgers because it was actually real burgers. And they made everything on site. That's the kind of president I would want. Just somebody down to earth. Didn't really speak very articulately, but he had one thing in mind. I'm not going to steal one more dime from the American people. And I don't know how I kind of traipsed myself into the White House. But speaking of that, I'm not living in the White House. I'm kind of living in a trailer in some parking lot somewhere. And because I don't feel right taking the money of the American people to make laws that make them less free and take more money out of their pockets. That's what kind of president. If I was going to have a president, that'd be the president. Oh, and by the way, Free speech, you guys can say anything you want to. All this other stuff is peripheral. You understand me? It's peripheral. It's like smoke screen, dog and pony, bread and circuses fodder, as far as I'm concerned. But I ain't going to touch one more of your freedoms. Oh, and executive order number 5, I'm eliminating the domestic terror cell known as the IRS. And we're going to look into replacing the dollar with just going back to gold and silver. I mean, that worked for 5,000 years or so. I figured, hey, tried and true. Why try to fix something that ain't broken? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of, I don't know about you guys, that's the kind of politician, if you're going to have a politician. Oh, and my 6th executive order after I dissolve all this stuff right here is I'm quitting because I don't need to be the ruler of nobody but me. That's my dreamboat politician. So I don't care about articulate. So you asked Josie about Trump. I don't have to look any further than the Second Amendment. The White House issued their decree that there are 4 red flag laws. If you're for red flag laws, you are against every man, woman, and child in America who wants a personal protective device. When Trump comes along and says, I like take the guns first, due process second, bzz, enemy. I don't care who he is. Not going to back him. Not going to back that BS. Trump doesn't take his pay. Sounds like bull. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. He's initiating unjust force and violence on peaceful people that haven't done anybody any harm. That's all I need to know. Yeah, triple digits. Yeah, come and get it. Come and get it, boy. You want my gun? I'm gonna give it to you bullet first. Hi, Dexter says high impact for president. Yeah, so I can rule you. I'm gonna rule you guys. I'm going to tell you what to do, where you can go, how you can think. I'm going to be president of the United States. Eric says Brian's more entertaining than any Hollywood talk show host we've ever seen. All right, here we go. Back to the insanity. Josie, Josie Smith, only felons. Josie Smith, what's your response to what I said about that? I know I'm kind of calling you out, but you just kind of caught my eye there. What's your response to Trump saying, I like take the guns first, due process second, and the White House, his administration administering red flag laws? What's your response to that? Rika says, I must agree with OOTG. Ron Paul was the beginning of my awakening. I would be in that camp. I would be in that camp, although the seeds of my awakening were planted with G. Edward Griffin's book, Creature from Jekyll Island. That's a thick book. I read the entire thing, and at the end of it, my eyes were so wide, you would probably call me Cory Booker. I couldn't even believe what I read. I read the notes in the back and everything going, what the heck is going on here? I had no idea that the dollars in my pocket were notes of debt. I thought I was actually earning actual real money. When I found that out, I was like, holy crap, what else have I been lied to about? Is Josie saying anything? I can't see. Okay. I don't like to single one person out, but I don't see any retort. There is no response to that, guys. If you're going to take the guns first, I don't care if the person was quote unquote a criminal or not. See, that's even suspect to me. I don't buy that. When the government calls somebody like a felon or a former felon of what? Because you arrested him because he had plant matter in the back of his car while he was traveling down the road with his family, and you decided to arrest him and throw him in jail for 5 years? That's not a felon, guys. The people the government calls a felon aren't even felons. Oh, it was a Schedule I drug, though. He shouldn't have had it. It's against the law. What's law? What is law? It's against the opinions of politicians, you nitwit. If you go against the opinions of politicians, then you're a freaking criminal. Okay. If I go against the opinions of criminals who are politicians or criminals because they're out there taking rights and taking money from everybody else, and they're not producing a dang thing that's helping a dang person. I'm talking to you, AOC. I'm talking to you, Bernie Sanders. I'm talking to you, Ted Cruz. I'm talking to you, Hillary Clinton. All you freaking politicians out there just suck and they're just parasites. They're like leeches on your arm going, giving nothing, taking everything. Don't need it. You don't need that leech on your arm because pretty soon you're going to be out of blood and they're going to go on to the next person. What is that thing about socialism? Socialism works until you run out of other people's money. Actually, it works. See, that's another thing is, well, it works. It works. It's not about working or not working. It's about doing the right thing. If you do the right thing and you do it in accordance with truth and you do it in accordance with logic, then you have a reputation-based society and prosperity just flourishes, man. You can't stop it. You can hinder it, but you can't stop it. It's that powerful. And if we become moral people, then we won't have an international banking cartel. It's going to have to happen in mass. There's going to have this huge awakening where people actually get together, which I'll do a next video on that. My next video will be on how many of us there are as opposed to how few rulers and enforcers there are. I'll do that in the next video. Let's just finish this out. Let's take about 7 or 8 more minutes. Finish this madness, this Black Friday madness out. How is my coffee cup? Oh, I thought that was my coffee cup. That was weird. I just did a major illusion on myself. I'm that slow, guys. I'm that slow. Not only am I not the sharpest knife in the drawer, sometimes I wonder if I'm even in the drawer, guys. You saw that illusion too. See, what I thought that this cap right here was the top of my coffee cup, and I was like, wait a second, the coffee cup is behind the camera. How could that be? Because I was only looking through the viewfinder. I thought that was the top of the coffee cup. That's the cap to the almond butter. And the illusion was this coffee cup was behind the camera. And I was like, how can that even be? What's going on here? Anyway, back to Black Friday madness. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned A Bug's Life. I'll try to pull that up. That's classic, actually. Just pitiful, just pitiful. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I've had my fill of that nonsense. I can only watch so much of that stuff. That we've lesson learned. Psychological operations in full effect. Somebody mentioned this little snippet from A Bug's Life, which is so freaking awesome, man. This is very instructive. Listen to this. If you've never seen this, pay attention to the script that they run on this.
There was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this?
Yeah, I'm going to stop this because I don't want to get destroyed by Disney. Outlaw X. Wait, who said that? Somebody said, your friendly neighborhood dealer says truth in plain sight. Yep, exactly. Listen to what they said. One ant does not make a difference in the scheme of things. And I'm looking at this from the viewpoint of one ant against the government. But if you get a bunch of ants together who are all on the same page, and this is what I'm always talking about, you get a bunch of us together who are watching each other 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And yes, it'd be difficult. And yes, it'll take commitment. And yes, it'll take determination and consistency. But if we all got together on just simple precepts like do to others what you'd want done to you, and nobody has a higher claim over your life and property than you, and nobody has the right to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. If we just get together on those three things and pull together and have each other six, we could literally make some headway in this world.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might.
I'm just gonna play it back.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1.
Yep.
And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Yep, it's about power. Power corrupts, and complete power corrupts completely. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay?
That's what it's all about, guys. We far outnumber them. It's not like 100 to 1. It's like 10,000 or 100,000 to 1. We can do it. I mean, and the thing that can really glue us all together is something we didn't have back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, in the early 90s, we did not have the internet. Now we have this ability. Look, how many people are in this room? 509? 509 people in this room. What if there's 15,000? What if there's 50,000? What if there's 500,000? A million? Easily. Look at Logan Paul and think of the other PewDiePie. PewDiePie has over 100 million subscribers. Imagine if PewDiePie was an anarchist. He probably wouldn't have got to 100 million subscribers. But think of the power that you have if you can mobilize that many people for good. Like a conspiracy of kindness kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's why I do this channel, because we can all get together, pool our resources, pool our knowledge, figure out what's going on, create some technology that binds us all together just on the simple precept of do to others what you would want done to you. And if somebody violates that precept, and it's a principle, guys, it's a principle every one of us has inside of us, even the corrupt ones. No politician leaving the halls of Congress, going home for the weekend, wants some mugger to jump out from behind a tree and steal their wallet. And yet he will do that to everybody every day of the week by use of his law enforcers. He feels very secure with Washington's security there, but he's willing to take away your firearms. He doesn't mind having the firearms and being protected by men with guns, but he doesn't want you to have them because it is about power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if we get together on just some simple precepts, we don't have to agree on everything. And we won't agree on everything. We're human beings. We all have different tastes, different ideas, different ways of doing things. But I know there's one thing that we can all agree on, that it's never right to initiate unjust freaking force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. Go extort them, take their money so that we can build our marble halls in Congress. There would be none of that if you had true morality going on. You don't have to have that. You can have a prosperous society. You can have the roads. You can have the schools. You can have the bridges. You'll have the clean running water. Why? Because there's a demand for those things. And if you know anything about supply and demand economics, you know that if there's a demand, there will be somebody always there to meet that demand. In other words, supply that. So we can do it. It's an uphill battle. It's a tough road to hoe, but it's something we can do. I appreciate you guys hanging out. God, I always say this. I did not expect this to last so long, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Black Friday special of High Impact Vlogs. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the super chats. Thanks for the Patreon, PayPal. I do have a Black Friday special. It's 20% off. This shirt right here, people were asking. This is different animal, same shit. Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get screwed. You're literally gonna get screwed. And you screw yourself because you vote for a ruler, not just for yourself, but for other people. So I got that 20% thing going on. December 10th is right around the corner. What's today, the 29th? So December 10th is in 11 days. In 11 days, YouTube changes their terms of service dramatically to where if you aren't considered commercially viable, you will be taken off of their platform. I'm just betting and guessing based on the way they've treated this channel in the past that they're going to take this channel down, and not just my channel, other channels that you guys like and appreciate. Like I wonder about demonetized channels. Like, you know what I think about Steven Crowder? I've already done exposure videos on him, but I think that Steven Crowder has the absolute right to be able to say whatever he wants to say, so I will back that right. So people like Steven Crowder, Sticks Hexenhammer 666, who aren't monetized, they wouldn't be considered commercially viable. So the question is, are they going to disappear? Is this channel going to disappear? So the way we have to work around this and circumvent around this is I have a website, highimpactflix.com. Just sign up to my private newsletter through that site, and then we can connect apart from Google, even apart from any social media platform. But while we have the social media platforms, a lot of us are just going to ride it till the wheels fall off. So just subscribe to this is my backup channel, actually. My main channel, High Impact Flix. I got other backup channels on this platform, my Gab channel, Twitter. If you guys have a Twitter account, follow me, just join me on Twitter, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. That way, if this channel goes down, we don't lose sight of each other. Because I think it's important. We got to stay together. If we don't stick together, we will hang separately. So I appreciate you guys hanging out on this Black Friday. You guys be safe, and remember, the price of freedom is and always will be eternal vigilance. And indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. Take care.